I listen to Creed, bro.
I listen to Creed. Lady Macbeth is telling you, kill it, fuck right, fuck yeah.
And this thing's all scarred up where the water hit it, and it's just like crazy fucking shit, you know, like really weird, magical thinking, demonic sort of stuff.
Good evening. My name is Maria. Welcome to Jared to Jared. On the second volume of the Demon Pod, the Jareds will discuss demonization, demonphilia, dancing with the devil, commodification, medieval times, and much, much more. Sed libera nos a malo. Amen.
The Demon Pod, Volume 2.
Volume 2.
John Carpenter's.
Hell yeah.
And Wednesday Addams just walked past my house.
That was weird.
A little bit frightening.
I think I've seen like 4 people walk down your block in the past 4 years.
This is a good ambiance. We should have set up the camera for this episode.
Yeah, this is nice. The lighting, the candle.
Right.
Yeah.
The topic.
Yeah.
So after doing the day pod.
Yeah.
On Demonis.
Yeah.
We had a lot more to say. We were like Ethan Hawke.
Oh yeah,
wandering through the desert thinking about the devil.
I left and we were both driving, I think, and like I looked at my phone and I was like, this dude literally just sent me a whole paragraph about demon ideas. Like 3 minutes after I left, I was like, all right,
I was completely pissed. As soon as we left, I was like, oh man, this thing and that thing picked up Dalton. I was like, get in here. Chocolate, sweets.
Dalton's just like, Dad, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're scaring me.
You're scaring me.
Why are you talking about this? See, that's the other thing though, is one like reason why I think so departed, another reason from actual demons, right? And this sort of like romanticization, dramatization of actual like demonic occurrences happening, like, you know, the fourth dimension, the objective.
Right.
I was a 90s kid. You're like not nurtured to believe in evil. I watched like cartoons my whole life, went to Disneyland, like ate cereal, had targeted ads that was like, you know, RC trucks and like candy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like 90s culture was Nickelodeon. It was so far departed from like traditional Catholic evil, you know?
Yeah. Well, look at it this way.
At least the vision that they were trying to sell everyone.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way. The 90s was the peak of Western civilization.
Right.
The peak of scientific materialism.
Right.
And then the 21st century, Twin Towers fell, and that was a gateway.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That was a gateway into the underworld.
Right.
I believe that. So.
We're in full agreement.
Yeah. Well, look at this way. Okay. Let's go into childhood memories, right? 90s. Yeah. You really, you know, cartoons, horror movies, but you're not like, you know, I remember being a little kid and doing like Bloody Mary in the mirror. Right. You know, and that was scary, but it was like, you know, it was fictitious. It wasn't real. Right. And like, again, the peak of Western civilization, scientific materialism, and then the towers fell, which truly I think was a gateway into the unconscious, into all the ugly shit that we weren't dealing with, right? That Western civilization wasn't dealing with. That was the gateway into the 21st century, into the shadow century. Right. So one thing that's really fascinating is, okay, I'm going to kind of go on a tangent, but then tie it back in. So when a society starts to collapse, you actually see like a really significant uptick in spiritual beliefs and spiritual practices. When the Soviet Union was falling or had just fallen in the 90s, actually, interestingly enough, like a ton of people in Soviet Russia started practicing occult magic and getting into meditation. And this is documented. I was reading about it, and like, it's weird, you know? And it's because when institutional structures are falling and people don't know what to rely on and they feel afraid and uncertain and unstable, they start grasping at the other realm, at the spiritual, right? So I'd say, hopefully we're not, in the same state as like post-Soviet Russia in the 90s, but I mean, our society is definitely feels like it's buckling a pretty significant amount.
Right.
And we're also seeing people go deeper into like astrology. Again, like in the 90s, astrology, that was like weird. That was like the weird hippie kid who like did too much acid who's into astrology.
Right.
It's like that one person in your high school was into it.
Sure.
Now it's like everyone, I feel like everyone is all about astrology and about like new agey ideas and stuff like that. And I would even argue, here's where I'm tying it back. The first real contact I had with bizarre new agey ideas and a sort of magical reality was 9/11, because I remember that shit fell, right?
Right.
And then all these kids, I don't know if this went on here. Like, I remember this one kid comes up to me and he has a like $10 bill and he goes, "Hey, look, when you fold it a certain way, it looks like the Twin Towers on fire."
Right.
And it's true. It's weird. Right. It's like, and I was like, what the hell? That's really nuts. Trick. Yeah, that one. And
which is weird that that was like a part of the culture because of the devastating.
I was 9 when this was going. So 9-year-olds were like, "Oh, look, if you fold this dollar bill, it looks like the Twin Towers exploding." I remember having dreams. This came up. That's
like collective trauma, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember having dreams. I was in New York last week talking to a friend, and 9/11 came up, and I remembered I had nightmares about plane crashes following 9/11. I was a little kid, so yeah, there was a collective trauma thing.
Right.
And then I remember even people saying that if you look at like this one certain clip of the smoke going up, and then like paused it at the right time, you would see Satan's face in the smoke. Like crazy fucking shit, like really weird, magical thinking, demonic sort of stuff. So I think when a society is stable, we're good. We're scientific materialism. We're good, However, when the society starts to buckle, that's when you start to see the demons come out.
Right, right. And what happened, it was sort of a demonic act that brought out this collective energy.
Yeah.
Sort of the village even came together, the peaceful, they call it like the first like time of contemporary unification in the country. There was no like
interesting
Democrat, Republican.
Right. Everyone was American.
Everyone was American. Creed was playing the greatest halftime show at the Cowboy Stadium. Scott Stapp flying with wings,
Right.
Freaking
Creed played the halftime show that year? I didn't know that.
Well,
that's
like 2003, a couple years later.
All
but
right,
they still they brought out the flag. It was like a huge deal. Football was back. Like
right.
America was back.
Yeah.
But what happened was the start of the longest war, ever.
Right.
And if I'm sort of thinking about archetypes of the demon, of the devil, right?
Yeah.
What about sort of mythological demons or, Roman Greek mythology, and sort of how they would actually, instead of targeting one person sort of in this Catholic way, go possess some girl in the suburbs, they feast on things like war. Mm-hmm. And, the god of war, the demon of war, who, is just like feasting in the bodies, all these crazy dark Renaissance, medieval paintings. Yeah. Just like demons, like eating the bodies of soldiers and shit like that. It's fucking gruesome,
Right. There's some wild paintings from that era. Right. Really wild stuff.
Oh, and then we say like the Dark Ages, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While a lot of our movies, fucking media, culture, all that shit, the devil is associated with the medieval period, right?
Yeah.
So many times we have, the fucking demon in the village, the the that.
Oh, there's
even
so
in
many
fairy tales, the Brothers Grimm, you know, all this stuff.
There's so many medieval paintings and wood carvings and etchings and shit like that. That's just like dancing skeletons worshiping demons. It's like fucking crazy. There's like a ridiculous amount of medieval demon art.
Right.
Like a ridiculous amount.
Gargoyles, right?
Yeah.
It's span from roots, from all that.
And what was going on then, you know, is the Dark Ages, the plague,
right.
You know, political instability, whatever.
So this kind of gets to like false demonization is one thing I was thinking of, right? So
demonization, we didn't even, beautiful. Yeah.
So let's kick it in the medieval times. A lot of times demonization, I'm even thinking like the Salem witch trials, is used to push a normative agenda.
Great, yeah.
And so what does the demon become? Back to Foucault.
Yeah.
Sort of this panoptic person within your life that forces you to self-surveillance, self-regulate yourself, you know, punishing yourself, this and that.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can serve, you know, a larger master, which could be, you know, organized, really, whatever the case. Right. Yeah.
Right. That's great. I mean, yeah, plague times, self-flagellating, you know, that was that practice, if you want to call it that, developed during plague times because there's all these people thinking God is punishing us with the plague. Right. So if we punish ourselves first, that will make God happy and feel like he doesn't need to punish us anymore. Right. Which is fucking crazy.
Well, and then a lot of the like, so it's interesting to think of the church as a means of not regression, which they're often seen and are guilty of humankind. Yeah. But progression. Mm-hmm. So a lot of like the demonic things that were, you know, labeled evil. Yeah. Were actually worked to protect the species in some way, like during the plague, you know. Right. I think a lot of the church was like, all right, it's fucking a sin to like not bathe yourself eventually and like shitting in the streets and stuff. Of course, they probably took part in all this stuff as well. But yeah, you know what I mean? I think what all cultures use the demon, the devil. Yeah. Native American, and we're bringing up sort of like the skinwalker thing as well, right? You had another all these tribal stories, Native American, Catholicism, Buddhism, whatever it is. Yeah. It's really just like a warning, right? As well, right? Sort of don't do this. Stay away from that part of the woods. If you wander away from the tribe, you're gonna die. You know, the demon wolf is coyote's going to eat you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, these are like fable stories to keep us safe, especially during hunter-gatherer times. Yeah. 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 There is a quality of control there, social control, right? Right. Creating a demon in order to create social control. Right. And then that begs the question, what are the demons today? You know, right? Who are the demons today? And there's so many figures. I mean, okay, the child pedophile, Epstein, Diddy, you know, whatever. All these like this elite cabal of fucking horrible people. Right. I mean, they're the demons, right? Right. Well, it depends. I mean, I guess it's whatever conspiracy there, because for some people, like, liberals are and the Clintons are the demons. For other people, Trump is the demon. For other people, and this is the demonization thing, you know. Yeah, right. To just sort of using it as a way to push your own agenda. Right. You know, so whether it be political or personal. Yeah. Even just like, oh, she's a whore, you know, or he's just a bastard liar. This, you're like demonizing the person, you know, either correctly or falsely because you just feel rejected and your ego was shattered. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Sort of thing. So it's an interesting, like, sociological tactic that we use. Yeah. Also. And I think that's something to be aware of is like, you know, to stray from that sort of behavior, you know. Yeah. Or know it when you see it, at least. Right. Do demons actually come up in the Bible? They do, yeah. They do? I can't think of any Bible stories that have a specific demon. Right.
I mean,
they are mentioned though.
They're mentioned. Yeah. Satan doesn't come up that much in the Bible.
Not too much.
Yeah. Right? It's not till later that figure gets like really fleshed out.
Right.
But the book of Job where, God makes a wager with the devil, which is such a weird story too.
Right.
The devil goes, "Hey, look at your man Job. You think
Satan's back and they're wagering.
Yeah, loves you so much, but I bet you if you took all his wealth and everything else away,
story.
he will curse you."
Right.
And God goes, "All right, let's give it a shot." It's like crazy.
Sounds like pretty good money. He's like, "No, I never bet on my subjects. 2-1 odds, God. Nah, 5-1. Nah, 10-1. All right. You're on.
Good story.
Yeah. Well, okay. So another thing I was thinking about is Pandemonium, back to the etymological, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a dance troupe here in Santa Fe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
For kids. That's called Pandemonium.
Right.
And also there's all kinds of brujas in Santa Fe. So who knows? Dude, that could be ran by like some, devil worshippers. Some witches, some freaking Robert Eggers characters. No, they seem to be nice, but the thing is that I was thinking about the roots of dancing as well. Footloose, the movie Footloose and shit, it's like demonized oftentimes in cultures. Dancing.
Oh, right. Well, like when you have like Calvinism and shit, like dancing's a sin.
Right. Yeah. And then like the dance fever, a lot of people said they were possessed. Right. Which led me into, back to categories of what's demonic. Okay, so what's dance? Self-expression. Yeah. It's non-normative, like body movement, placement, and you're like going with like music that may be chaotic for somebody, you know. So, and it's also like, it can be seductive. It's indulgent, music, which led me to sort of chocolate and eating the chocolate, and the whole town, they demonize her. Right. For making the town's chocolates. Right. Yeah. But really it's just demonizing our own, desires and seductions.
Right. And there's a lot of demonic culture. I mean, I think of social media, data collection, the way in which social media is used to manipulate behavior and all. I mean, I think of that as demonic. Right. Or at least just really shitty.
Sure. Which goes back to the like global evil.
Right. The global evil.
The Zuckerberg, the government.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. The shadow government.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And then of course you were talking about Demonphilia.
Yeah. The love of the demon.
Right.
Demonophilia. Right. Yeah.
Can you say more about that?
Well, because you sent me that text where you were like, look, there's all these names of sports groups or teams and I don't know, just whatever, bands, musicians, whatever it is. It's literally everywhere. You can see it everywhere in the culture.
Sure. Sure.
I called my sister earlier and we were chatting on the phone and I was like, do you believe in demons?
Yes.
And she made me laugh. She was like, yeah, one lives in my town. I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, The Conjuring. Have you ever seen that one? The doll Annabelle.
Right.
So this fucking doll, like the actual doll that the movie was based on, lives in my sister's town.
Right. What?
Yeah, like the people who
she should be afraid.
The demon hunters who went to the house and like took the doll and like put it in a glass case and were like, don't ever let this thing out. Right. Their house is in my sister's town.
Right.
And the Annabelle doll is locked up in a glass aquarium or whatever. Just
and
like
some YouTube ghost hunter dude. Did you hear about that recently?
What?
Went and saw the Annabelle doll.
Yeah, bought the house.
No, like this YouTuber went and saw the Annabelle doll.
Huh.
Fucking died.
What?
Like 12 hours later.
Are you serious?
Yeah, mysterious gods. It's fucking
holy shit.
Dead.
Well, apparently these other YouTubers or whoever they are bought the house and are turning it into a museum. Anyway, so Demonophilia. It's a real thing, Like you could ask anyone, hey, have you heard of, a band, a sports team, what's a local story that involves a demon? people love it. There is something thrilling to it.
Right.
The dark side, there's something thrilling to it.
Well, then, of course, there is devil worship.
Yeah.
Which is one of the oldest religions in the world.
The
Wiccan sort of religion,
Right.
And what is that as well? That's sort of a fight back against using the light for evil.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of these groups see falsehood in common organized religion.
Yeah.
But yet they still have like sort of this rebellious con to be like, fuck you, I'm going to serve this side. Yeah. But the funny thing is to me with those religions is it's like, but you're still acknowledging a Christian.
You're still Christian. Yeah.
Yes.
If you're a Satanist, you're still Christian.
You're still Christian. Right?
Yeah. You're just doing the other side of the binary.
Be more creative. Come up with Galacticist,
Yeah, exactly. Huh. Yeah. Devil worship though. And it seems to me based on like Dr. Faustus, stories like that, sell your soul to the devil. Right. Lucifer adorned in all the jewels of the world, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You are getting something from it. There's something like seductive, interesting, compelling, riches. We're talking about this on the day pod. And so I kind of get it. I sort of understand it and understand, oh, wait, I can get everything I've ever wanted.
Right.
Would you like butter?
Right.
Yeah, it's that whole thing.
Oh, witch. Yes. Back to the witch.
Sign here, and then you'll get all the worldly desires,
Black Phillip.
Yeah. Oh, that was the story that I wanted to share too. So I have this book of Celtic mythology, right?
Nice, okay.
Right. That Anastasia got, and it's got this one story called the Black Lamb. It's like a page-long story. And the Black Lamb, it's the Antichrist, So Jesus is the Lamb of God,
Right.
So
the black sheep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the lamb, it's, these Irish people in the countryside in like the 1600s, right? And this black lamb strolls into their house one day and it's got scars all over its body. It's fucking terrifying, right? Oh, fuck. Wait, let me go back a couple of steps. Okay. I skipped a crucial piece of information.
All right. We need that.
All right. So anytime they would dump the pail of water at the end of the night, they did their cooking, they did their bathing, and they're dumping out the water outside. They have to call out to the spirits, watch out, I'm dumping water. Because if water in that belief system gets on a spirit, it injures them. Right. Kind of like witches can't touch water, that sort of thing. Right. So they actually say, watch out and throw the water. So this old farmer forgets to say, watch out, right? And then hears the water splash on it and on something like an object. But he doesn't see anything there. And he's like, what the hell? So then later that night, he's trying to sleep. And then at the foot of his bed is just a black lamb, and he turns on the lantern and lights a flame. It's just like, ah, and this thing's all scarred up where the water hit it. And it's just like, yeah. So then they take this black lamb and they're like, first they try and just fucking push it out, just like, get out of here, and just throw, grab and throw. They're freaked out, throw him out of the house, right? But the very next night, the lamb is still there, right?
Okay.
So then they're like, try and kill it, and they drag it outside and dig a grave and bury it, But then the next night, the lamb is there yet again, just staring at them, right? So then they're like, okay, maybe if we welcome the lamb in, maybe if we just sit here, sit here with the lamb and see what happens.
The lamb,
and then the lamb's just hanging out and hanging out and hanging out and not leaving. So that finally they invite a priest in to do the exorcism. And then the lamb finally leaves, and they even dig up the grave the next day, and there's no evidence of a lamb ever having been there.
Okay.
But what I loved about that story, bring it back to the parts therapy, internal family systems thing, symbolic parts of ourselves. If you try and push it away or cut it out, kill it and bury it in the backyard, it just comes right back. It comes right back.
Right.
If you invite it in, but just like kind of keep it too close, then it's like it's going to live in your house.
It'll never leave.
It's going to live. It's never going to leave.
Yes.
So what you need to do is like sit with it and almost accept and allow that it's there.
Right.
But then also take the actions to clear it out
Right.
Even ask it for forgiveness for pouring water on it or whatever.
Right.
But even that's like in that culture, demons and spirits were so interwoven into the culture that it was, if you don't say the right thing when you're cleaning up at the end of the night, you're going to get a demon in your house. It wasn't just a story. People believed that.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you think that it's a good thing that we're so now departed from that culture of traditions?
That's a great question.
Of superstitions, even. We've let them go. The new generation isn't even aware of the black cat or walking under ladders or like any of that sort of old lore anymore. Is there something lost there? Are we now unprotected because we don't have the Celtic gods with us?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. For millennia, right, people were making daily sacrifices to the spirit realm, to the gods, to the goddesses, to the demons even.
Right.
Appeasing them, feeding them.
Sure.
Right. You would actually leave a little bit of your food. You would dump out a little bit of water. You would feed them. You would show some sign of reverence and respect. Right. And scientific materialism peaked in the 90s. And then we entered the shadow realm. We stopped feeding the spirits.
Right.
And the spirits got mad and are now demanding attention.
Right.
So if that's true, then yeah, we messed up. We went in the wrong direction. And actually those older generations had it more correct.
Sure.
So
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking too, I like this idea of thinking of the mythological gods of mythology, Roman, Norse, even Greek. None of them were pure gods in the sense of the Christian sense of a god.
Yeah.
None of them were pure of heart or soul necessarily.
Yeah.
Zeus, dude, was corrupt. Yeah. Freaking, Atreides, you go down the line, all of them, Athena was lustful, all this stuff.
Sure. None of them were pure
Hades,
beings.
The list goes on.
Right.
There were all this combination of light and darkness.
Definitely.
And what they were, though, is definitely departed from humankind.
Yeah.
So that being said, at this point, we're at a new place in our society where we've never had the most amount of people that are non-religious,
Right.
So we're not engaging with those old traditions in terms of worshiping this ideological evil, the ideal. So I'm sort of thinking what you mentioned in the Jared to Jared ether.
Yeah.
Where you said that we're coming to this phase where it's like blending together the old and the new,
I remember this.
Present, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what's happening is so much so is the devil red and the god black, blue or black or white and black, right? That's a duality. Right. Now we have none of those things and we can't reflect closer on what's evil and what's good. And now they're just starting to blend together into this weird river of corruption.
Right, exactly.
And once that light river gets a few drops, of the evil, I think it just really corrupts the river. I don't know. I think Mordor is spreading.
Right.
What do you think?
Couple of things. So one,
unless we're coming to a crescendo of a beautiful submersion of good and evil,
like the synthesis, the holy synthesis. Right. Yeah, could be. So one, the way we're doing things, as far as we know, is radically different from the way things have been done for 100,000 years of human history.
Right.
As far as we know, I mean, we can't really trace back. We don't know what was going on beyond, I think it's 40,000 years ago. We were not too sure, of what human culture looked like. Is it possible that there was a hyper advanced culture that rose and fell in that time, yeah, it's possible. But I'm going to assume probably not. I'm going to say that we were pretty much, just nature-dwelling people, hunters, gatherers, agriculturalists, demon worshippers for 100,000 years.
Right.
And this is new. What we've been doing for the past 2-3 centuries, totally new. So then the hubris, talk about pride again, for our culture to look back and say, people hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, had no idea what was going on. Look how advanced our civilization is. We figured it out. Which is one, there's freaking lead in the water, like you were saying. Right. Did we figure it out? Did we really?
Sure.
Did we really? So whatever, positive, negative, I don't know, right, wrong, I don't know, but we are doing something. This is a severe derivation from anything that has happened in human history before.
Right.
Severe.
Right.
So we don't know what's going on. No one knows what's going on. The earth itself doesn't know what's going on. Right. So that's number one.
Yeah. Just a quick comment back on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty daunting too when you look at the time spectrum of humanity, which at this point could be more than, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. They don't even know anymore how old humankind is, right? It's pretty daunting to see where we, even trackable history to the beginning of the Egyptian Empire, right? Their level of the way that they live, their religions, their understanding of demons, and the integration of such, fooling them, right? With the fake heart, the scarab heart, to get into the fields of Elysium or whatever have you. Yeah. But all the way up until the architecture, all this stuff, very primitive. Not necessarily the Egyptians, but I'm talking about fucking computers and shit. Right? From technology when that happened to now, it's crazy. It's like a blip in the timeline.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's almost like some sort of othered influence on humankind that we made such a crazy jump.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
In fact, there's probably Y-Files episode on it back to AJ and Hecklefish, but there's a few episodes on key pivotal sort of alien encounters, like Roswell. And then shortly thereafter, fiber optic cables become available and shit. Cool. All this crazy leap, in humanity, which I think also happened during the Egyptian times as well. Their empire was pretty significant, I don't know. Not necessarily, question there, but just to comment on, it's pretty wild, which makes me think then demonic or the devil or evil could also be used in a way as a term to explain the unexplainable. Let's go to Mark Twain. Oh, fucking Sammy Clemens, King Arthur's Court, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. They thought he was a magician, or and some of them thought he was the devil, whatever. Right. All he had was firecrackers and some stuff from the 19th century. It's sort of also this way to explain things we just don't simply understand, even I've talked about it with my dad, just who knows what the religions will say if aliens were to come. They'd probably call them demons because they're afraid, they don't understand. And it's not in the Bible, even though it is the book of Enoch, but they took that out. So.
They took that out. Yeah. And, there are these things because there was, Darwin came up with the theory of evolution, and some other guy, I forget his name, just stumbled upon this actually, when I was at UNM, I was just exploring the library and just took out this random book. I was flipping through, and it was all this, God, I wish I remember his name, like Theo Marshall or something. But same era as Darwin. And he was also this anthropologist. And he was just kind of a crazy person, just no money and just like wandered off into South America and started documenting a bunch of stuff.
Right.
And turns out the dude was a complete genius. Anyway, he and Darwin never met each other, never had any correspondence.
Of those synchronicity things.
Yeah. This guy, I'm going to call him Marshall because I think that was it. Anyway, Marshall and Darwin came up with the theory of evolution in the same exact year.
Right.
They never met. They had zero correspondence. They had zero social connection.
This is part of that synchronicity.
What the hell?
Dude, it's crazy. If you jump into it, every big discovery, documented discovery, happened simultaneously.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
Pyramids,
a different
all this
part
shit.
of the world. The phone.
Yeah.
Alexander Graham Bell
and
some other dude fucking submitted the phone within an hour of each other. Never met, different states, all this stuff. You know? Yeah, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Jared to Jared both write a prologue on the same day.
What the fuck is happening? The greatest discoveries, prologues ever written.
It's crazy.
Just so happens another guy named Jared doing
that. So
I don't know. I'm coming to a place where I also don't like the term demon and like demonization.
Yeah.
Because it's used as like a way of like commodification. Yeah. It has been commodified for sure. You know,
if your high school sports team is the Demons, it's pretty
high school or whatever. Yeah,
it's not that threatening anymore,
silly.
right?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be like, oh God, I can't sleep when it's like,
oh God, we're facing the demons tomorrow.
You got to be pretty like gullible to be like, that would be like at this point, demon is like, would be afraid of like vampires, like actual vampires, be like, I don't know, there could be vampires, or witches or something like that, who knows?
Yeah, it's a little silly. Yeah.
But there could be.
I don't know, man. I've definitely seen some, I've seen some people that were like, you got a demon in you. I could see.
And then I also think that a lot of people who I've seen throughout my life that were like self-proclaimed Wiccans or like played around with like, Ouija board or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was either like a bunch of stupid high school kids partying, like trying to freak each other out.
Yeah.
Or some kid that was like sort of this student in your class as like a cry for help or like attention.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Oh, look at me.
Look how dark I am.
Worship the devil.
Like an edgelord
I listen
kind of
to
thing.
him and like 9 Inch Nails. It's like, all right, Smashing Pumpkins, fucking calm down, Powder over here.
Yeah. I listen to Creed, bro.
I'm on a higher level, bro.
So funny. Yeah. So here's a general theory on demons.
Okay.
Let me know what you think. Okay, one idea. I'd have to fact check this. But Diablo comes from the same root word as divide, right? The DI, Diablo and divide, right? So devil, Satan, all of that comes back to separation, cutting off, right? And whether or not the root word, the etymology is actually there, doesn't really matter. The idea is that Satan is separation. So you look at the initial story that there's Lucifer living in the realm of God, which you could say, let's put a kind of Buddhist spin on it, is unity, oneness, right? Satan, let's call him Lucifer at this point. Lucifer is living in unity with God, in oneness with God. And then there's that pride, and pride itself is separation, because pride is saying, wait, what about me?
Right.
How do I compare to everyone else, right? So now you get a split. Now Lucifer falls from unity, from God, from oneness, and now there's duality.
Right.
Oneness has now split into two.
Right.
And this gets really Buddhist, really Hindu, but things began as one and they split off into two. Now you have dark and you have light. You have, all the duality there.
Right.
And any time that there is a demon, what that is a cut off part of, a human being who's been ousted from the society and gets all fucked up, someone who's been cut off from their family, all this kind of stuff. We've talked about how You read a study or something that showed that people during the Vietnam War, I think it was, Native American veterans came back and the rate of PTSD wasn't as bad among them because they were welcomed back into these really strong
tribe,
family units, right? Community units, not even just the family. And it's actually separation itself that is the demonization, you know, or this whole like parts therapy thing. It's these exiled pieces of yourself, and then you go in and you embrace it, you know, or like a little kid's acting up and looking for attention. It's because they feel separate, you know, and you welcome them back in, and you know, hold them and hug them, and now they're calming down. You know, they're not acting out so much.
I like this.
You know, and that's sort of, again, the Buddhist cosmology and Hindu too, is that what the human being is doing to live their best life, to fulfill their main purpose, is to reunify with God. Bring your soul, bring your spirit, whatever, through all these practices, back into unity with God. You need to suture back together what has been broken. You know, bring the duality back into oneness. And that is the role of the human being, that we have the potential to sew everything back together. You know, the realm of the angels and the realm of the devils. Sew it all back together, bring it back in.
Yes. I like that.
So the demon is the exiled, separate force. You know?
Exactly. And even, you know, even in like my traditional like upbringing Christian sense, which is the same basic story as the rest of them, is, you know, after Armageddon happens, Satan and his demons will be locked up for 1,000 years, then released again. And then there'll be like the sands of the sea, that's the Bible says, of the people that will follow them. And then the end will come. Then Michael, the archangel, Jesus, will come with his sword, fucking reckoning crew, and kill them. Then bring unification for the rest of time. You know? And unity, I also like this sort of divide, right? This is making me think of another thought I was having while waiting in the school line. Possession. Right? You're getting possessed. And if it were sort of on the same realm of symbolic of the words, right? The symbolism of it. The sign, right? We think of possession as something that you can hold, something you can take, right? Something that potentially is a unification, but it's not in this sense because of the El Diablo, right? The divide, the devil. Because what are they actually doing? They're possessing you. Sort of like, I bought this computer or whatever. They possess you. And it's a unconsensual sort of like, you know, ravishing, pillaging of the soul of the self. And then you no longer are who you are anymore. You are now this other thing. But sort of, what is this devil sort of trying to do? Well, it's actually divide, not unify. Trying to become one with you to rip apart, right? That's the fear of the possession. You know?
And that's part of what that ego mind, the prideful mind, the Luciferian mind, the part that sees itself separate, going back to the C.S. Lewis thing, you know, let my will be done, that side of us. What does I'm going to call it demonic. Sometimes it's really demonic. Other times it's just like small demonic, you know? But what's it try to do? It tries to consume and subsume everything, right? It tries to control. It wants control over everything. You know, in the same way that a demon trying to possess a soul or possess a human wants control over that human. You know?
For some reason now I'm thinking about, like, you brought up like Epstein's Island and stuff. Well, anyways, Bill Clinton and like a lot of other presidents are part of this like this weird club. It's like the Freemasons essentially.
Yeah,
but it's like the
Buckman's
Buckman's Club.
Are you talking about the Owl God? Yeah, the Owl God. Yeah.
What is it with these like
Camp
rich
David
old societies? Yes.
Is it? I think it was there or somewhere else in California. I forget.
Yes,
yeah. There's pictures.
Yes.
There's pictures of Ronald Reagan worshiping an owl god.
Right. Like some weird demonic fucking ritualistic shit going on. And who knows if like some human sacrifice was done. We will never know.
We'll never know.
But also the inclination to do so.
Yeah.
I think it's linked maybe even with power.
Yeah.
Going back to the Egyptians, you actually don't give a fuck anymore. You're willing to side with one of these gods, one of these demons to get ultimate power.
Oh, yeah.
To achieve the presidency, to become the pharaoh, Yeah.
Yeah. And you do see all these figures whose lives are terrifying, celebrities appeal like Diddy, something like that, hopefully he's like unique in that role, but apparently freaking all these other wealthy, rich, famous figures were involved in this. But it's like, what the hell, dude? Like,
right.
What demon did you make a deal with in order to get that level of wealth and power?
Right,
like, that's fucking wild.
And then, of course, we could like go into these like contemporary stories. I like Aleister Crowley and shit channeling that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Freaking weird. Like, man, we talked about Aleister one time and we had like counterculture sort of thing, like. And that's another thing, what it is too, what we believe is like demonic evil is just, a different version of normality, non-normative thinking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Or cultures that were performing human sacrifice and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like,
Midsummer.
My God. Like if you could take a time machine and go see that, that's one of those things where it's like, you just can't conceptualize, just imagine.
Apocalypto.
Yeah, exactly. Just like this entire society that's a blood cult. Like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, where'd the Aztecs come from? Like, that's crazy.
Right.
That's
which they
bad
probably
stuff.
think that were insane too. Just like wars on through the skies and like demon birds, and like these crazy like
wild
fire bombs that you blow up whole villages, just absolutely insane. The level of what that sort of what evil is in this world, I suppose. But I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot of ground. The worshipping of the owl god and the Freemasons and all them, like, what are they doing? What are you doing? What is all this like? That's why I also like to sort of like a Bill Maher rationalist sort of thinker too, which I am fundamentally at heart.
Yeah.
Is it's all very silly as well. People are like in pajama parties, sort of like thinking this stuff is actually like something.
Yeah.
Even like the Oracle of Delphi, there's a few of her prophecies that were essentially like telling the kings and the knights, you're idiots for believing in this jargon and different verbiage.
Right.
Like to believe a demon is to believe like a cow or something.
Right. Yeah, there's something totally ridiculous about it.
Sacrifice, whatever. But it was actually saying you're an idiot, don't go do this. But they'd go do it anyways because they're afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know. And of course, like modern day religions, I've seen it in friends of mine that are religious. It's a fear mongering tactic to keep you in the religion.
Sure.
It's like, oh, well, don't leave. You're going to go to hell. You don't want to burn forever.
That's crazy.
It's like, oh, you're not giving money this month. Well, you have fun in the fire,
Yeah, that's wild. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah. I don't know. Final thoughts on the demo.
Well,
I kind of like that it's part of like even this pod right now, even like the setting and like over tea and like the freaking candles or whatever. Like there is like maybe because it's commercialized a little bit and it's even like comedy movies and all that. But there is something like also comforting and cozy, sort of like ghost stories around the campfire, sort of thing. I don't know, Halloween, right? Because if you actually think about Halloween, according to like Mormons and like witnesses, they're worshiping the devil, you know, and that is sort of what it is, you know, that is exactly what it is. Yeah. But there is like a tradition there. There's like a changing of the guard as well, you know. It's fun. It's candy.
Yeah. I mean, I had a thought when I was working at that bar. Like, I had a thought. So they were playing, I don't know what song it was. I don't know, some rap song. And I started listening to the lyrics, like actually listening, and no one's listening to the lyrics. Everyone's getting drunk, talking, whatever. And I'm like listening, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is demonic. It was like terror. It was the darkest lyrics I'd ever heard. Weird. Like really scary, you know, like fucking chopping up bodies, raping women and shit. Jesus like crazy shit. Yeah. What, but like a great beat. I don't, you know? And I was like, whoa, you know, and if you listen to a lot of popular music, I mean, a lot of it is incredibly dark, you know. I'm not saying like, you know, start censoring it or something, but it's like, like I almost felt like
I think it's good to be aware of hearing those
what are you
things
consuming?
In your subconscious. Right?
Yeah, what are you consuming?
Like almost like murder podcasts, you know, or something.
Yeah. If every night before you go to bed, you're watching, you know, whether it's the news or a drama TV show, like a fictional show, if you're just watching people's bodies get torn apart right before bed every night, it's like, what kind of psyche is that going to create?
Listen to some crazy music, just like a pistol point, tear your face off, eat your bush. Just like, dang, this is a little bit intense, you know?
Yeah. So there's something weird to it, you know, and I do think of America as a death cult in a way. Right.
Dude. That's what I'm saying. That the apocalypto people be like, hey, we kill a couple people, but you guys, it's like thousands.
That's true. Yeah, we kill like 20 people a month to appease the gods. You guys are putting lead in the water and freaking
lead in the water. You're freaking blasting people in the streets, cops, fucking man against man. What is happening here?
What is
bombs,
happening?
warfare.
You
know.
Yeah.
They'd make a movie about us, you know.
Right.
Freak out.
Yeah.
But so think about it too. Back then, it's not like they were just killing the blood cult, like just to kill. It wasn't like just like, let's fucking murder. It was like for it to rain and shit for their crops and for like, you know, wealth and stuff. Like, well, according to like their religious texts, you know. So like, I don't know. It's sort of harken back to what you're saying, where there is oftentimes a reward for demonic behavior.
Yeah.
You know, whether that be wealth or rain for your crops or like, you know, riches or power, whatever it may be. Yeah. There's something there's an exchange there. Yeah. Right? Selling the soul to the devil.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question. So the movement of Western civilization, you see, like the Mongolian Empire, right? And it moves west, and then you see the Roman Empire. And then it moves further west, and you see the British Empire. And then it moves west, and you see, I'll call it the American Empire. And now it seems that that's moving west, and China's starting to, you know, take control of a lot of things. We have no idea what's going on in China. It's crazy.
Right.
Like, so it seems like there is this like westward turn. It seems like the demon keeps jumping westward,
right.
And then and this isn't like, you know, I don't want this to sound like Buddhist propaganda or something like that. It's just curious. That has generally moved eastward in its historical expression. Like it was in India, then it was in China, and then it was in Japan, and then it was in the US and Europe. So that kind of moved eastward. Just kind of interesting. But I don't know, is there like the global demon? Do you think it's like stepping stones from one country to the next?
So I like that idea. I do like that idea. I think that it could be argued that the light goes west and east. So whether that be Buddhist, Tibet, whatever, Hindu, but also Jesus and, Muhammad and these sort of positive light figures in Western religion as well, right?
Yeah.
Just like there are Buddhist demons, Hindu demons, very frightening, freaking, 8 arms, freaking the Grudge, that originate in places like Korea, Japan, So do I think there is a global demon there that jumps? Yes. And if you look at the old like samurai empires, the old like Ming Dynasty, the Terracotta Army, right? There was a lot of the historians at that time wrote a lot about demons in the empires.
Really?
And, yeah. And like really like a demon came upon the queen, God, I wish I knew how to pronounce it. The QIN, one of the empires, right?
Okay,
Huge dynasties. And there's a historian that wrote about this demon that was invited into the family and took over the family, and all of them died.
And that was just an accepted part of the history.
And then a new dynasty came and got rid of this demon and blah, blah, blah.
That's so nuts. Yeah. Imagine if historians now were using those terms.
Right.
Yeah. So, the White House in the 1890s, there was a demon afoot, and then the next administration came in and really made it a point to clear out the demon before they moved ahead with their policy making, just like, what the hell?
Right. Payment.
Yeah.
Or like that story. Remember that story I told you about, that one friar?
Yes. I was thinking about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he what was it? He went out and he went out for an exorcism to exorcise this demon that was taking over, and came back, told everybody he exorcised the demon, everything like that was fine, got rid of him. Freaking Brothers Grimm, awesome hero, goes back, he becomes the Pope, this dude, and he's the one who started the fucking Crusades and like the most brutal war in the church's history,
right?
Well, anyways, the fucking Knights Templar went back to that village hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
Went into that the house, which had like a basement chamber, and they found his body with his Bible in a bird cage, locked up. He had never left.
What the?
So they think the demon jumped in and like recreated him and was the Pope for a while during the medieval times.
With this Bible locked in a bird cage. That's fucking crazy.
How insane!
Imagine if I walked in here one day and you just had a bird cage hanging from your ceiling with a Bible in it. I'd be like, "Are you okay? What the fuck did you do last night?"
Right. Or you had been doing the pod with me for like 3 years, and you came in and like, in the basement, I was like petrified. My Beats headphones. You're like, oh God, it's Jare. Holding Hagrid's leash or something. Just like, wait a minute. If this is Jared, then who have I been doing the pod with? Yeah,
there's this wonderful, terrible historical account of this woman who had to have been a sociopath, psychopath, whatever she was, because she enters a nunnery. Right, enters the convent, quickly climbs her way to the top of the convent, and she's having sex with all the nuns and like convinces a bunch of them to kill one of them. Like crazy shit going on, and it's like, what the hell? Like, how does this happen? It's so crazy.
Can it always be just chalked up to insanity though? I don't think so. Like, I think
Charles Manson.
There are people that are like inclined. So Manson's an interesting one too, because according to even the Bible, there's a scripture not to do drugs essentially because it opens the gateway to the devil.
Oh, interesting.
Like
I think that's possible.
Yeah, an altered state of consciousness.
Right.
And like their CIA files, they're fucking pumping Manson with acid.
Right.
Him and his friends, even unknowingly, they would arrest him and then like feed him acid in his water. And
and he'd been in and out of jail since he was like 15 years old. Right. So it's like, you know, this wasn't like a sane person to begin with. This was already someone with a lot of issues, you know. So
was it just the drug going insane, or was it an actual opening of a doorway, you know? If you're to dude, I had a friend that did acid or mushrooms for like 19 days.
That sounds
terrible. He has never been the same.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. And like, I remember going over on like day 12, me and Dion.
Yeah.
And he was like not okay. He was not a human anymore.
No, that's terrifying.
And then like all of a sudden he like jumped over the couch and like face planted on the carpet, luckily, but like really face plant, looked like it, and then started swimming and was afraid, was like, no, I gotta get to shore. I can't get out of here. Help me. Just like swimming.
Oh my God.
And we're just like, what the fuck?
That's so
the
scary,
guy's in the ocean.
He's possessed. He's possessed.
So, you know, is that simply psychosis? Is it biological, all kinds of like chemicals flooding your brain? I don't know what it is, you know.
Yeah. Incredible. I mean,
or is it certainly both? Like, because of that biological process, you can then enter this unholy, like, fourth dimensional realm.
Right.
And sometimes it is like a place to get to the holy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it leads you to hell. Like we had these mushrooms here in Santa Fe. They'd call them heaven and hell, because they either take you to heaven or they take you to hell. It was either or.
Yeah. That's terrifying. Yeah. And it's like, are you going to take that gamble?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. But some people like the gamble, and that's part of the excitement.
Sure. Yeah.
You know? Oh, man. A friend at the Zen Center says that you could go into some pretty far out sort of visionary states doing extended meditation. And whether it's just, you know, your mind coming up with shit because you're bored sitting there, or whether it's real, you know, I can't say for sure. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But she says that you can go into some really light states where you feel like you're hanging out with angels, you know?
Right.
And she was all like, she's like, yeah, I just stay away from that, because the realm in which you're open to angels, you're also open to demons. They're embodying the same plane of reality.
Sure,
so she goes, I just choose not to open to that plane of reality.
Right.
I use meditation to like get my feet on the ground, get back into my body.
I like this.
Like,
this is good material for me and Dion's next book, which is you're going to be the main character. Yeah. Because no one's done a Jehovah's Witness horror book. So if you do it out there, I'm murder you. You know, you're taking I'm suing you. RV's coming out soon. And there also hasn't been like an American Buddhist horror either. Like the white guy that goes to a temple and like some crazy grudge shit happens to him.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
Meditation, yeah.
That'd be interesting.
And then he has like his like friend in town who like, you know, isn't part of the temple, blah, blah, blah. It's like a good thing. Yeah.
I do just want to point out Moby Dick briefly, then I have a question for you, because I don't even have a point to make about it. Just Moby Dick is full of demons. It's so fascinating. He talks about the whole time that he's leading up to getting on the Pequod. I love that you called my bike that. That was fucking awesome. The whole time that he's leading up to getting on Ahab's ship, there's this build up, this dramatic build up of like, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's even this stranger on the shore hanging out on the docks who's like, you don't want to get on that ship.
Right.
And then Ishmael and Queequeg are like, what are you talking about?
Like,
and the guy's like, that's a cursed ship.
That's
a really cursed ship. You sure you want to look at it? It's adorned in whale bones. It's scary, you know?
Right.
Like, you sure you want to get on that? And then Ishmael, he's all like in a rush or something because the boat's leaving soon. He's like, dude, leave us alone. We're going. Get out of here.
Right.
And then the guy's just like, good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Which is very like Shakespearean, right?
Yeah.
We're getting back to Macbeth.
Melville is very Shakespearean. I think Melville is the reincarnation of Shakespeare.
He's the American Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the witches, going up, oh, Macbeth.
Yes.
You will have great power.
Yeah, I think Melville must have read a ton of Shakespeare. There's something very Shakespearean about Ahab. He reads like a Shakespeare character.
Right.
Like,
very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. Very over the top. These long soliloquies,
Yeah. King Lear-esque.
Yeah,
in the beginning, the madman.
Yeah. And then he talks about the ship and all the crew members being possessed,
that's another thing is like influence.
Yeah.
Demonic influence.
Mob mentality.
They call it, right? Yeah. Like getting influenced by things around you. Like demonic nurturing, people that are like willing to go there, places that have darkness, the boat, the ship, the journey,
right?
Becoming the king, murder,
right?
Who's influencing you? Lady
the
Macbeth
dark realms,
is
the dark
telling
realms.
Kill him, fucking
right,
fuck you, fuck you. Macbeth, you're gonna be king, With fucking Macbeth's like, whoa, man, I don't know if I want to have sex anymore. This is freaking me out. And then he ends up slaying his best friend, and just like, oh my god, goes down a very dark path, a very dark path.
So dark, but there's something compelling. People are compelled by the darkness. There's something we already said, seductive, attractive.
Well, and then I'm thinking like Payman back to Hereditary.
Yeah.
The reason the grandma does it is for riches. The greatest riches will be bestowed on you. And there's a picture
which is crazy because she was already old.
Like crowns, Yeah. So if you sacrifice, then you get all these things. Maybe it's like the 144,000 thing reversed in the after in hell. You become like a king and queen with the devil.
Oh, right. So here's a question for you. Would you? Okay, let's say it's scientifically proven, or it's part of the reality, 1600s, whatever. We just accept this stuff as truth. If you could make that deal with the devil for worldly goods, this
Stevie Ray Vaughan,
incredible life. Yeah, you're going to
play the guitar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going to be rich. You're going to be famous if that's what you want. Rich, whatever you want, you have it. You're going to, or make it more applicable to you. You're going to be this world famous scholar who wrote this incredible book. People are having
Dreams
you
will be
on
like
talks.
Better than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Bigger than
Rogan's having you on the pod and be like, Jared, your book has changed the world, man. This is just so good.
Right.
And you're like, oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, for sure.
Forward by freaking George R. himself.
Right. Yeah. Would you, or whatever your thing is, would you do the deal?
Man, a forward by J.K. Rowling or like a prologue written by J.K. Rowling or George R. Martin. Man, that would be tempting.
That's tempting. It's tempting.
God, that's insanely tempting. Here's the thing is I would have like so many stipulations. I think the devil would get bored and just cancel me. Because I'd be like, all right, like bust out a fucking whiteboard because I got stipulations. I want to be like the oldest human ever to live in perfect health. Like freaking, my kids will have great lives, rich, no health problems, no crazy trauma. Satan, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Freaking
so many stipulations. Just like you got the lawyer in there. Like
my mustache is a little thin. I don't know which one of you fuckers arrange that. A little bit bushy tailed here. Yeah. I'd be going down the list, So I don't know. I think he'd get bored and then ultimately it'd be like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it, and then I'm undecisive, so I'd probably cancel him.
All right.
Because heaven sounds really awesome too.
Yeah, sure.
So
sure,
like, I'm thinking of like Disney's Coco, you know, you go to the afterlife, you want to be a cool guy. You want to be like throwing parties and stuff that, you know, Dios de los Muertos comes, everybody remembers you. You're on the ofrenda. Freaking, you don't want to go to hell, man. Hell sucks.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
You want to go to Paradiso.
See, because it's always temporary too. It's like, cool, you have all this shit.
Exactly.
We're going to be 80 before you know it.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's like,
and human existence is so filled with anxiety, depressions, freaking, you know, wants, desires, loss.
Right.
If I'm not depressed, one day I'll be depressed because I've never been I haven't been depressed in a year, and all that'll start making me anxious. And like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, for the beauty of our lives and our existence, there's also very much a mundanity. There's a finality to it. You can't beat the afterlife. You can't beat a forever paradise. You can't beat a heaven. You can't beat like being reincarnated over and over again into Paul McCartney. You know, it's just like, I don't know, you know, it just always seems like the longevity of the alternative is always outweighs the contemporary. But that's why we heroize and glorify the figure who does sell his soul for our entertainment. Yeah. BB King, whatever the case, Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, the like blue stories of selling their soul to the devil, play guitar, you know. Right. We make movies and glorify it. We make stories and oral narratives about the guy who sold his guitar. He had six you know, freaking six fingers raging. So it's like it's sort of like the hero, the prophet has to be an other. While the person who sells himself to the devil is like not part of society, not part of the current culture, is sort of like outside of I think you mentioned that for the prophet, like outside the normative, you know? Right. But then is glorified has been like, oh, but the most righteous metal, he's, you know, blues guitar you've ever heard in your life, you know? Right.
It's the anti-prophet.
Right. Which is weird because there's something about the person who gives up heaven, right? There's also something romantic about Satan in that whole story of like rejecting big company politics. Yeah. You know, I'm a jealous God. You got to live my way or the highway. That. There's no like free will, you know. Right. Satan was like, hey man, fucking nah. Like, I just want to like chill, whatever. I don't want to do all this crazy stuff. Chill. Like, you know, God can be very much King Lear. Like, tell me how much you love me.
Right. Old Testament God.
I'll fucking burn you to death, you motherfuckers. Yeah. You know, and it's like, hey, you know, the sort of the blues guitarist, you know what, fuck heaven, I'm freaking just gonna play freaking, you know, Pride and Joy, Texas Flood down here on my guitar. I don't know, there's some, you know what I mean? There's something about going against normality, you know, what people perceive as good, and, you know. Yeah. Against the system. That's what the whole punk rock freaking revolution was about.
Sure. Yeah. And there's like a long tradition of like devil music, you know?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I would.
Yeah, what would you do?
It'd be too tiring. The cost is too much.
It's too much.
You know, the cost is too much. Like we've said before about, you know, whoever just like insane, like Cortez, like people throw back. Cortez, like, it's like, dude, just go watch a movie. Like, what are you doing?
On behalf of the Jareds, thank you for listening. Rate, follow, and tell your friends. The Jays will be back next time, and always remember, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Enjoy your night.